Happy Cinco de Mayo. What better way to ring it in than with a 53-man roster projection for the Philadelphia Eagles? EJ Smith is here. I'm Bo. You're not going anywhere. Stay tuned. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PHLY Eagles podcast on Tuesday afternoon. Beautiful. Cinco de Mayo live from the Xfinity studio. Bo Wulf, EJ Smith. We're presented by our friends at Ashley. EJ, it's a short stay.
It is a short stay. It's a little warm outside, but in a good way. You know, I walked the dogs this morning. Really enjoyed that.
The Dags.
The dogs, as I would say. You know, you can't see our feet underneath the table here, but
you can feel them.
I'd be wearing some Birkenstocks today.
Oh.
I went socks and Birkenstocks, so that might be a violation for the kids out there. But I feel like I have to wear socks to the office, but I didn't want to put shoes on.
I mean, what a tough life you're living.
I mean, it's a great life. I'm lucky to have this job, happy to have this job. You know, very fortunate to have the audience that we have. So I appreciate you guys.
I had a real bad situation at lunch.
Oh no.
It was awful. I got some poke in the neighborhood. Place I like to go.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, I'm sitting there, I'm watching her do it, and she grabs what's clearly
the worst avocado.
I mean, just it's a little dark on the outside, and there's a whole pile of not like very nice green avocado.
So you think this was personal?
No, it's not. I think she was just, you know, sleepwalking through the job. I didn't take umbrage to it necessarily, except that I took umbrage to it, like, well, now I got the bad avocado.
I don't know. Maybe
so
she pegged you as a guy who likes a bad avocado.
And I'm so in my head about it. Obviously, I'm not going to say something. I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm so in my head about it. I forgot to get chopsticks, so I got to eat my poke with a fork like some kind of loser.
All right, two things here. First and foremost, I am happy for you that you can eat poke with chopsticks. You're not some jabroni if you eat poke with chopsticks.
I think I am.
I think it's great if you can do it, and to be respectful of the different cuisines and different cultures. I get where you're coming from, but you're not a jabroni.
This is a football show. Why did I talk about this in the first 2 minutes of the show?
Listen, this is some color. You know, get to see our personalities. I think it's fine. But yeah, you're not a jabroni if you have to use a fork to eat poke.
Well, I didn't feel good about it.
It's fine. I've seen people use spoons for poke before. It's okay. Whatever you need, whatever you got to do. Rice with chopsticks is hard.
That bad boy back and throw it down the gullet.
Right, rice with chopsticks is tough. The second thing is, I think this lady might have looked at you and gone, I'm giving this guy the bad avocado.
Listen, I'm not discounting that possibility. I wouldn't blame her necessarily, but boy, was I just mentally fragile about the whole thing. Just move on with your life, Bo.
It's tough.
Couldn't do it.
For those in the chat saying I can't use chopsticks, I can use chopsticks. Used chopsticks last night. I can use chopsticks. I'm not like an expert level chopstick user. Like if it's a rice situation, I will use chopsticks. It will take me a while to eat it. And that's fine. You know, it's good
fine.
for you. Yeah.
That's how you get better. You practice.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles as we get into the first of 90 straight shows in which we're going to be doing 53-man roster projections. We'll see how much it changes on a daily basis. No. But this is a good way to take stock of the strengths of the roster.
Yeah.
Where the roster battles in training camp are likely to come. And a way to pass the time.
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting to that point now where we're gonna get creative. We're gonna have fun on this show, without as much news every single day.
Let's start at quarterback, EJ, and let's bring in our friends from True Mark because we are looking for the right people at quarterback. The Eagles have 4 quarterbacks on the roster. The right people presented by True Mark Credit Union. Jalen Hurts, great, gonna make the team. No doubt about it.
Total lock. Yeah.
And then everybody else, you know, who knows? Now,
Yeah.
Tanner McKee, if he is still an Eagle, will be on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Possibility he gets traded in the offseason before training camp. Maybe somebody suffers an injury. He could be your step-in starter. Possible. Andy Dalton, they are giving him money. Not quite as much money as we thought, but they did trade for him. They have some kind of purpose they see for him. And 5th round pick Cole Payton. A little bit more on Cole Payton coming up later this week on the PHLY
little
Eagles show.
tease.
Now, Cole Payton, one thing we talked about is I did hear somebody behind the scenes propose the idea that because Cole Payton is such a good athlete, one way to beat the roster math of potentially having to carry 4 quarterbacks is maybe he can play on special teams.
Yeah.
And not as just people have talked about the idea of him as a tush-push guy. Jalen Hurts is not coming off the field.
Yeah, I'd be surprised.
But I think there's a possibility that they could see a special teams role for him. Eagles have not carried 4 quarterbacks before, recent Howie Roseman memory, but they have not had a situation quite like this. Did you carry 3? Did you carry 4? If it was 3, who'd you whack off?
I carried 4, so I didn't whack anybody in this exercise. But
you carried all 4.
Yeah, I carried all 4. I had Tanner McKee. When I went through the exercise, I did not account for like potential trades or, other roster maneuvers, which will come up with another player I have on here. But with Tanner McKee, with Cole Payton, I think that he would have special teams value. I have his measurables up here. He's 6'3", 232 pounds. He ran a 4.56 40. Like, you can't tell me that guy, at least
now, can he
theory,
tackle?
Yeah, at least in theory, he seems like a guy who could be valuable on kickoff coverage units at the very least. So maybe he provides some value that way. But
if you do the mock draftable athlete,
that's what I got right here.
Right, the athlete comparison.
Yeah,
it's the other positions are it's linebackers and safeties and tight ends. There's one wide receiver, one other quarterback, but those are the most popular positions there. And then there's also Riley Cooper.
And interesting, Justin Jolie.
Justin Jolie.
Well, Justin Jolie didn't test, so it's just his measurables, but still 6'3", 241 for Justin Jolie there. So yeah, I think he might have enough value on the margins that you can justify having him on the roster. But ultimately, I think it will come down to the Clayton Thorson test for you, which is like, does he look competent enough in training camp to justify that 4th spot? If he does, then I think they can talk themselves into it with this other stuff, but I think it will come down to just being that simple.
Yeah, they want to have a quarterback in the development pipeline.
Yeah.
Tanner McKee, whether he's on the team or not, is entering the final year of his rookie deal, and it's unlikely, I think, that he comes back after that. Andy Dalton is not somebody who's going to be in their long-term plans.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think there is a real possibility that they carry all 4. In fact, I also have Cole Payton making the team and have the Eagles carrying 4 quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah, we could have said the Kyle McCord line.
Kyle McCord line, yeah. I mean, listen, we'll see. Cole Payton, this is very much there's not a spot to be won here. It is just kind of an evaluation that they have of Cole Payton. How does he look this summer? Does he look like he's worth keeping around? If so, they're certainly not going to get rid of a quarterback that they kind of like.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Can I give you my my like person comparison from the very brief time we interacted with Cole Payton at the podium?
Sure.
I think he is like a very dead on cut like cross between Carson Wentz and Cam Jurgens, which tracks. He went to Carson Wentz's college and he grew up in the same area as Cam Jurgens. He's got like aesthetically and also his mannerisms.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some connection there for sure.
All right, there you go. The right people presented by TrueMark Financial will include not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 quarterbacks. Now, do you think that there's any chance that the Eagles move on from Andy Dalton?
Yeah, I guess in a world where there's a real need for him somewhere else and they can get back probably more than what they traded for. I mean, they just did that. It was Joe Flacco, right? That they just did that with?
Well, they signed Flacco and then traded him.
Yeah, okay. But still, I mean, same principle, where it's like you had a guy early in the offseason. I think they'd have to get equal or better value back, and they probably also would have to see enough from Cole Payton to feel confident about it. And then obviously the Tanner McKee situation, he has to be here.
Yeah.
I would be, like, I guess, is there a world where they trade Andy Dalton for someone who could be their number 2 quarterback in a world where they traded Tanner McKee?
Yeah.
Seems like too much.
I think
too much moving. Too many moving parts.
It's not impossible.
Yeah.
Okay. Running back. Now, as we go through this, EJ, I've got 28 locks.
I'm glad you asked me that. Or you some
guys who I'm putting 100 turkeys right now on will be on the week 1 roster, barring catastrophic injury. Then there's a few more who I think are like, I didn't even put Tanner McKee as a lock because I think he could be traded.
Because I have 31, so I've got 3 more than you.
Okay, and then did you have McKee?
I had Tanner McKee, so I've got 2 other ones somewhere in here.
Okay,
I'm
so
very curious
the
to
two
find
are.
out who the
Now,
other
at
two
running back,
are. Yeah,
I only have 2 locks:
same.
Saquon Barkley
And Tank Bigsby.
and Tank Bigsby. Do you have 4 running backs? You got Will Shipley. I think certainly the inside track here. The Eagles will carry at least 3 running backs. Damian Pierce is in the building.
Yeah.
Carson Steele. Are they going to carry a fullback? Are they going to use a roster spot on that? And the field too, because they will add at least one other running back to the roster at some point.
Yes. So I only have 3 on the roster. I immediately borrowed from running back for this 4 quarterback situation that I've built here. And I have Will Shipley on. I have Damian Pierce just off. And then the rest of the guys also off. I think you'll see I borrowed a little bit at another position that maybe factors into this room a little bit.
Yeah, I think everybody who's
everybody will know what that is.
Exactly what that means.
But yeah, Will Shipley for me. So just to bring the listeners behind the curtain here, you guys know I love tiers and I love titling the tiers with something that I think. I mean, I don't even think they're clever.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they're not clever, but I like to give them good definitions.
Yeah.
So I have locks, I have near locks, and then I've got a small group of players that you use the term inside track. If you have a good camp, I think you're on the team. And then I have guys.
These are like spots where they're going to keep someone at this spot, and this guy has the inside track for that job.
Yeah, or just more so like the player is a player that
Okay.
if they have a solid camp, I think they'll want to keep them.
Okay.
Then I've got outside track. You're going to have a really good camp and have a couple things fall your way. And then I have the proverbial long shots at the end of there. So
Okay.
For me, Will Shipley is in the near locks, actually. I think he is beyond. I think like he'd have to have an awful camp to not make the roster. It would have to be like Damian Pierce outplays him the whole summer.
Well, and it's especially difficult because at running back,
Yeah.
especially for a veteran running back, it's not like you're going to get to evaluate that much of them on the field.
Yeah.
And then if Damian Pierce or Elijah Mitchell or somebody runs wild in the preseason, are they still going to take that guy over Will Shipley? Probably not.
Yeah, the running back performance in the preseason games can even be overstated. It feels like you could still get those guys through
Yeah.
to the practice squad if you needed to.
So I think Will Shipley is, I would be putting 90 turkeys on him making the roster.
I was going to say like 80.
Something like that.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's get to wide receiver.
Where it gets interesting.
Where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown, Hollywood Brown, Britton Covey, Darius Cooper, Danny Gray, Mekhi Lemon, Elijah Moore, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, Dontavian Wicks, and Johnny Wilson. You might have forgot that Johnny Wilson is still around. That's 12 wide receivers currently, actually 11. I think we are probably both not going to have A.J. Brown on our projected 53-man rosters. Did you go 5? Did you go 6? How many locks do you have?
I have 6 receivers on my 53.
Okay.
Let's go through the locks I have here. I don't have dreadlocks. That's what I don't know if that's like it just happened in my brain, I guess. I was just like, oh, I got locks. I don't. I wish I did. Devontae Smith, Mekhi Lemon, Dontavian Wicks were the only locks that I have.
Those 3 are locks.
Yeah, I think Darius Cooper, he was a near lock for me. I think if he'd have to have a really bad camp. I mean, they carried him on the roster so much last year. I know they're bullish on him internally. And then Hollywood Brown is another guy I had as a near lock. Elijah Moore was the last one I had on mine. I think he is like your proverbial like bubble player. I think he should be like, if he has a good camp, I could see him making the team, but I could see a lot of different things happening with that 6th spot.
I do not have Elijah Moore
Okay.
on my roster. I've only got the other 5 that you have. And I think it's worth thinking through the types, the proverbial basketball team that they maybe want to put together. And so you've got Devontae and Mekhi Lemon, and you've got Dontavian Wicks.
Yeah.
What that lock of 3 is missing is a speed guy, a pure speed guy. In theory, that's Hollywood Brown, right? Now, that has not really been the way that he has performed as a player in the NFL, like 12 yards per catch basically every single year. But there's not, I don't think that Danny Gray is going to steal that job. I don't think that Quez Watkins is going to steal that job. I don't know. I think we could probably overstate the need for a dirty work guy on that group because, in theory, Mekhi Lemon does these things and Dontavian Wicks does these things.
Devontae can even do some of that stuff.
But Darius Cooper is good at that stuff.
Yeah.
And so he makes the need for Johnny Wilson probably less. And then Elijah Moore, do they need another speedy slot guy, a guy who finished last season on a practice squad and probably doesn't need to be on a 53-man roster, I decided to say no.
Yeah, I think that is a fair reading of it. Like, does he fill a role that they need? I think if I was mostly going off, I think he's probably going to look the best in camp. We don't know what Johnny Wilson's going to look like. We don't even know if he's going to be healthy at the start of camp. So him and Aniyah Smith were guys I was like, just kind of.
Now, how about Britton Covey?
So he's the one. He is the most on the bubble player for me, where it's like, if he makes the team, it wouldn't shock me at all. I would actually still be surprised to see him cut. But when I was going through the exercise, I had him probably as my 54th player.
You know, you got Tank Bigsby returning kicks. We know he's one of the best in the league at that.
But punts.
I'm joking.
Oh.
They don't have another definite plus as a returner.
Yeah.
You also wonder how long Britton Covey's shelf life is at that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's an interesting one.
How old is Britton going to be next season? He just turned 29.
Okay.
So, yeah.
There you go.
Now, he hasn't, his football age, he would argue, is a little lower because he went on the mission. Hasn't been playing as long, but still, 29 as a punt returner.
It's possible.
You at least want to see it still.
Yeah.
You want to see it in camp.
All right. So we only have one difference so far, but that's okay. We'll see how much longer we go for another one. I'm going to take a break. Come back with tight ends. I think you know that EJ is trying to squeeze somebody else on the roster at tight end.
Guilty.
Stay tuned.
Starting something new can be terrifying. Before I joined this show, I remember thinking, what if no one listens? What if my co-host never admits when he's wrong? But sometimes you just have to take the leap. And it definitely helps when you've got the right tools behind you, like Shopify. Shopify is a commerce platform behind millions of businesses worldwide and about 10% of all e-commerce in the United States. You can build a beautiful online store with hundreds of ready-to-use templates, and Shopify's built-in AI tools can help write product descriptions, page headlines, and even improve product photos. Plus, you can run email and social campaigns, manage inventory, you can handle shipping and returns, and also track analytics all in one place. So it's time to turn those what-ifs into real dollars with Shopify today. You can sign up for a $1 per month trial at shopify.com/allcity. Again, that's shopify.com/allcity to turn those what-ifs into real dollars in your pocket.
Boy, are we in the thick of the playoffs here in Philadelphia with the Flyers and the Sixers making these awesome runs that are getting us all so excited. You can get excited yourself with Bet365's Bet $10, get $200 deal for all NBA and NHL games. Even if the regular season is over, there's never been a better time to start at Bet365. That's because right now, new users get $200 in bonus bets thanks to their Bet $10, get $200 promo. All you have to do is sign up, make a $10 bet, and they'll throw you $200 in bonus bets, which is a lot more fun than constantly refreshing the play-in picture site. Download the app and use code PHLY365, Bet365, where winning is everything. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 21 and older only. Must be physically located in Pennsylvania. Terms and conditions apply. In-app only. Bet365. Back on the PHLY Eagles podcast, Bo and EJ working our way through a 53-man roster for the Eagles. We move to tight end, where sometimes they keep 3, sometimes they keep 4. They've solved all their blocking issues because of Johnny Munt. We've heard.
Gotta have multiple irons in that bag.
There are 8 tight ends on the roster at the moment. Grant Calcaterra, Johnny Munt, Dallas Goedert, E.J. Jenkins, Stone Smart, Cameron Latu, Daquan Wright, the undrafted rookie out of Ole Miss, and Eli Stowers, the second-round pick. Darwish, that's right.
Yeah, shout out Darwish.
I've got 2 locks here, Goddard and Stowers. I have 2 other tight ends making the team. I have them keeping 4. How about you? How about you?
I want to guess who you have first.
I bet you can probably guess who I have.
Is it Johnny Munt?
I have Johnny Munt on the team.
You've been big on Johnny Munt might not even make the team.
I don't think Johnny Munt is a lock.
Yeah, I had him as a near lock.
I think if he makes it through camp healthy, he's the best blocking tight end on the team. He probably makes the team.
Yeah, and your 4th tight end. Did you go Grant Calcaterra?
I did not go Grant Calcaterra.
Did you go Darvish?
I went Darvish.
Oh, you were just trying to troll me with this. Come on. You haven't even seen the guy play football yet.
Yeah, I'm not penning this in. This is not something that I'm going to be held to.
How?
But yeah, right now I'm going with Daquan Wright.
The audience knows what's going on here.
No, this has nothing to do with your boy. Your boy can still be on the practice squad and be elevated for games, and that is something to keep in mind here.
Snatch him up.
That is something to truly keep in mind here. It's why they can afford to carry 4 quarterbacks in my estimation.
Yeah.
Because having 16 guys in the practice squad, having the game day elevations, means that your roster is bigger in a way that allows you to use the final 53 spots on luxury developmental players, right?
Yeah.
Guys you want to make, who keep around, who you know won't get poached. Whereas, Marcus Epps last year ends up being your starting safety the second half of the season, but he was on the practice squad for a long time. Like, because the vested veterans, they're not going to be subject to waivers. You can keep them around, and they can play for you for a handful of times. And so I don't think that they need to use the roster spot on Cam Latu. I could be wrong.
To address the audience here, this is the sound of a man who has covered Howie Roseman for a long time, because I could hear Howie Roseman saying exactly that to justify the 4th quarterback spot. It's not a 53-man roster anymore. We look at it like a 70-man roster. Now, also to address the audience, we all know what this guy's doing here. We all know what this is.
This has nothing to do
putting an undrafted tight end that you didn't even know the name of when the Eagles could have drafted him in the 7th round.
That's not true.
Over
his name, I couldn't read my writing.
Over Cam Latu, burgeoning blocking tight end, fullback hybrid extraordinaire. Get out of here with that. Cam Latu is the 4th tight end on my 53-man roster. You saw the vision last year. You saw the value he can add. I think he's still a developmental player, especially if you wanted to use him primarily as a tight end. But, Howie Roseman talked about it. They need to have a diverse skill set in that room. I like Darvish as a receiving tight end. I think Cam Latu can be a Johnny Munt, maybe a Johnny Munt insurance policy, a player that you can still count on to do a lot of the dirty work in the tight end room. We talked all of that all year last year, at least I did, about why aren't the Eagles using Cam Latu more in these types of situations? Maybe Shaun Mannion will see that vision as they rebuild this offense.
Maybe. I feel pretty good about Darvish here. Now,
based off of what?
Stone Smart and EJ Jenkins and Grant Calcaterra, this is like a true, I think we'll have a really good training camp competition here. Guys who are all on the known roster periphery, guys who probably are number 50 to 60 on most NFL rosters. I think it's going to be a high level competition.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have anybody else besides Eli Stowers who signed through next season.
Right.
That's why I'm giving the bump to Darvish.
I think that's fine. I mean, jokes aside, I had Cam Latu as an outside track player in my tiers. So I think he will have to have a good camp.
You just believe in the guy.
I believe in the ability to have a good camp.
Okay. Offensive line. Interesting one. The Eagles have gone heavy there in the past. I count only 6 true locks here, and I'm curious if maybe there's a 7th that you have. But I think the only locks on this roster are the starting 5 and Markel Bell. I'm assuming you have Fred Johnson.
Yeah, I have Fred as a lock. Yeah.
I think there is a world in which Markel Bell looks ready for prime time to be your game day swing tackle, and you flip Fred Johnson for a 7th round pick. I think it's unlikely. I think I have Fred Johnson on my roster. I don't think he's a lock.
Okay, I think that's fair. Yeah, I didn't account for they could trade this guy for a possible pick. We'll talk about another player that I thought is a trade candidate later on, but for me, Fred Johnson is a lock just in the sense of if he's on if he is a candidate to be on the 53, they will have him on the 53. But otherwise I agree with that logic. And I think if a team needs a tackle, Fred Johnson would make sense for them.
Would you say that Drew Kendall is in the same tier as Fred Johnson?
I didn't have Drew Kendall as a lock. I had him as a near lock. I think him being a near lock is emblematic of the fact that they're bullish on him and what he will be in year 2. I mean, I could still see
other obvious backup interior offensive
line.
line.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, so you're saying they wouldn't I don't think he's a lock. I mean,
I'm
he
not
still
going
has
lock,
to go
but,
out.
you know.
He has to go out and validate the encouraging signs that he had last year. To me, I think he would have to have a good camp. But I have him as a near lock.
So that's 8 guys who we think are pretty safely on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got Jake Majors, who was on the practice squad at the end of last season. A lot of people might not know him. Micah Morris, the 6th-round pick, the rookie. Jaden Roberts, the undrafted rookie from Alabama. Our friend Willie Lampkin.
Yeah.
Holland Pierce, who stuck around on the practice squad all season. Miles Hinton, who was a late-round pick last year, spent time on injured reserve, still here. John Ojukwu, and Cameron Williams, the 6th or 7th round pick from last year, who had an encouraging final game of the season when he was put into action. I have 3 of those guys making it.
Not counting Kendall, right?
Not counting Kendall. So I have 11 total offensive line.
I've got 10.
Okay.
Good.
I have Cameron Williams making it.
Same.
I have Micah Morris making it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got Willie on there.
That's fun. I like that.
Willie.
Yeah, I didn't have Willie mostly because I had Cam Latu on. Had to borrow from somewhere.
He's my Latu.
Yeah, we both have a passion player on our 53. I respect that. I like that.
So that means no Jaden Roberts. And I think Jaden Roberts is probably, you're looking at a head-to-head competition with Micah Morris.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I feel about that one. Holland Pierce, I feel like the numbers are too tough there.
It's just like, why couldn't you get him through to the practice squad,
Yeah. And I think Cameron Williams is a good one to remember because last year in training camp, he didn't look good.
Yep.
And it was like, most people didn't have him on the roster.
Yep.
And they used that spot because they thought he was a developmental player. Let's give him some coaching, some development. And it seemed like it paid off at the end of the season. Now we'll see how he looks in the summer, but the sort of scholarship year is over for that.
Yeah, and I would say Miles Hinton is the player where if Cameron Williams struggles in the summer, I think Miles Hinton could play his way into making the 53.
Quickly, let's do special teams, EJ.
Yeah.
Jake Elliott and Braden Mann are locks.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have Rocco Underwood on as the long snapper?
I do, mostly because I didn't want to get into the chicanery this early. I wanted to kind of honor the exercise as 53 or maybe 54 players that I felt deserved to be on the roster.
What does that maybe 54 mean?
Well, maybe there's an exemption that gets me a 54th player.
Okay. The thing with Underwood is I'm worried that you are using something that you can't use. But
okay, yeah.
Underwood, you can't do the chicanery with Underwood that you did with Lovato. Mm-hmm. Because he is subject to waivers.
Oh, he is subject to waivers, but still, he's an undrafted long snapper.
Right. You could think that he'll get through, but you don't have you can't like communicate with his agent ahead of time and be like, hey, we're going to cut you, but we're going to re-sign you. It's not up to you. So I think Underwood, if he's the only long snapper, if he has a good summer, he'll make the team.
Sure. Yeah, I agree.
All right. Let's take our next break here before we make the split over to defense. Find out which player who is not under contract at the moment makes my 53-man roster.
Same.
My name is EJ Smith, and Parks Casino is my casino of choice. What makes Parks so great? Well, Parks is a great place for a night of headline entertainment and award-winning dining, in addition to all the other stuff that you know and love about a Parks Casino. And they've got a great array of entertainers coming to Parks over the next few months. You got comedian Ben Bankus on August 22nd, magician Michael Carbonaro on September 19th. Tickets are still available for these headliners, and on May 14th, in just 9 days, Jacob Dylan and the Wallflowers. You've got country music superstar Brantley Gilbert. The Dice Man is coming to town on May 16th. Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet. Hey, what am I over here? George Thorogood and the Destroyers are coming in August. Sebastian Bach, too. It's all happening at Parks Casino. ParksCasino.com is where you go to buy tickets. Must be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Okay, quick time out here, and this one is worth hearing. TrueMark Credit Union just rolled out their new Momentum Checking, and it's built for everyday life. No big balance requirements, no hoops, no confusing tiers, just rewards for how you already bank. If you use your debit card, you can earn rewards on everyday purchases. You'll also get ATM fee reimbursements, plus access to a high-yield savings option when you complete a few simple activities. And right now, there's a $250 bonus when you open a new Momentum Checking account and meet the qualifications. It's more perks, less hassle. Total win. Check it out at truemark.com or visit one of their 24 local branches to get started. And they also have the $250 bonus with the new Momentum checking and $1,000 of qualifying direct deposits in the first 90 days. Prior checking members not eligible. For full details, visit truemark.com/momentum. TrueMark is federally insured by the NCUA.
Yo, what up? We're back on the PHLY Eagles podcast. 53-man roster. It's time to go to the defensive side of the ball. Now, I had 27 players on offense. I think you had 26.
No, I think I was also at 27.
Also at 27?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we both have the Eagles going heavy on offense. On the edge.
Oh, we're going edge first. Okay. You and me are different.
You go defensive
I
tackle
always
first?
go defensive tackle first. I don't know what that is. Yeah.
I as I flip over, I go from the outside in, but I don't know. I could be convinced otherwise.
I don't know. There's not a right or wrong. It's just, yeah.
3 locks on the edge. John Grenard, Nolan Smith, Jalen Hunt.
Mm-hmm. Same.
I think you've got Arnold Ebiketie and Joe Tryon-Shoyinka and maybe Jose Ramirez competing for that 4th game day spot.
Yes.
You've got Keyshawn James Newby trying to prove that he's worth keeping around. Taquan Graham, Joshua Weiroo, and a player who's not under contract at the moment.
That is on my 53.
That is on my 53 as well.
Yes.
And that is Brandon Graham.
Yes.
Who is still listed on the Eagles roster.
Yeah, apparently he comes off on June 1st.
Okay.
And that is I think this I'll credit Zach Berman for that reporting, that he comes off the 50 or the 90-man roster after June 1 because of his contract. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I haven't heard anything. I just don't know why they don't need him on the edge, but as we get to defensive tackle, the flexibility he showed last year to kick inside, I think, does help you on game day. So I do have Brandon Graham on my roster, and I have Arnold Ebiketie getting my 5th spot over Joe Tryon-Shoyinka.
Yeah, listening to BG Unblocked, which I hope everyone does, did during the first season there. It sounds like Brandon Graham wants to play another year. I think the way that last year went and the way that he played toward the end of last year, I don't see why the Eagles wouldn't want to have that back in some capacity there. So for me, if he wants to be there for training camp, it would make sense. Usually veterans are the other way.
Yeah,
right?
He wants to be there.
Right. Usually a veteran player is like, talk to me in August or in September. But if he wants to be there, I think it makes sense. So he's on mine as well.
All right.
Arnold Ebiketie is the interesting one for me.
And I think this is a much better situation for Arnold Ebiketie than it was when it looked like he was going to be counted on to be the number 3 guy. Not that it was ever definitely going to be the case. For him to be able to come in and play 12 snaps a game, I think that's probably a good use for him.
Yeah, I agree. For me, that spot that goes to Arnold Ebiketie, obviously Joe Tryon-Shoyinka would be a player that I think is, like you said, in direct competition. But like a Keyshawn James Newby or like a Joshua Weiroo, like if they look awesome in training camp, I could see them taking a spot. I don't know if it's Ebiketie's spot, but if they're trying to keep the numbers the same on edge, I could see them taking Ebiketie's spot.
Yeah.
Even as someone who thinks that Ebiketie makes a lot of sense, and I think the Azeez Ojulari experience should not 100% change the way that you feel about Arnold Ebiketie, but just the roster math, I could see that happening.
Well, Weiroo and Uar Bernard, who we're going to talk about in a second, it's an interesting puzzle.
Yeah.
Because if you want to make sure they're protected, they got to be on the 53. If you want to just sort of keep them in the building, then you can use the roster exemption for the practice squad. You go from 16 to 17. So like if Joshua Weiroo flashes for 2 plays in the preseason games, then maybe you're worried about losing him.
Yeah.
I have him not on, but I think it's possible.
No,
talk about the luxury positions. Could they use 2 spots just as placeholders? I think it's more likely they're going to just, Joshua Weiroo will be going to his car at the end of the day one day, and Howie Roseman will.
You stubbed your toe, didn't you?
Bonk him on the head with a bowling ball or something like that.
No, I don't think he's going to resort to violence to keep him on the.
Oh, I dropped my bowling ball on your toe. I'm so sorry, Joshua.
I think that
I think they would love an IR situation.
Yeah, if he stubbed his toe on the way to his car in the parking lot. We saw it with Jordan Mailata. If you feel like there's legitimate upside there, if you feel like it's the type of player that you need to protect, you would you'd highly regret it if they did get picked up on waivers. Then you got to protect him on the 53.
All right, defensive tackle, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Moro Ojimo.
Yep.
Locks.
I was curious if Carter was going to be one of the players you didn't have as a lock. Or
Oh, no, he's a lock. Yeah.
Yeah, so where's the lock?
Ty Robinson, I have on.
Same.
Even though it was a disappointing rookie season.
Yeah.
And then I have them keeping Uar Bernard.
Yep.
I have a spot on Uar Bernard, and I have Gabe Hall and Byron Young not making the team.
Yep, I have Uar Bernard as well. I think for the reasons we just stated, I think the Eagles see the upside that he has. They use a 7th-round pick on him. I think they'll want to protect him from waivers in that first year, especially when there's a lot of intrigue. It's going to take one good play in the preseason for a lot of teams for their eyebrows to raise and for there to be real interest. So for that reason, I think that they'll probably try to protect
You're not using a pick on him.
Right.
And expecting immediate returns. So you're only using a pick on him with the expectation that you're going to be keeping him around.
Yeah, and
right?
You're also using that pick. You use that pick to keep him from being able to test the entire undrafted free agent market. Yeah. For that reason,
I would say now listen, they also need to, the Jordan Mailata comparison of it all, you got to evaluate the person.
Yeah.
Right? How committed are they to going through this very long road and what it's going to take? But I think I would argue that Uar Bernard is more safely on the 53 than any other day 3 pick.
Yeah, I agree. Because it doesn't really matter what he looks like in camp. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like if you're going to pick him, then you're going to want to keep him around.
Right. Because his performance over the next few weeks. You're right, the person thing, evaluating his character, who he is.
It would take something bizarre
for
them to cut bait, I feel.
I agree. It is tough, though, because Gabe Hall and Byron Young, they've played meaningful football for the Eagles, and they've been training camp standouts before. Would not surprise me at all if either of them really pushed for a spot. It's harder to find those spots, if it says the guy who had Cam Lato on his roster. But still, on the defensive side, I do think there's going to be some really, really good position battles.
For me, Brandon Graham is covering for Byron Young.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
The loss of not having a.
It's also
Ty Robinson. It's he was an older pick.
Yeah.
So it's year 2. You got to show it.
Yeah, maybe
you might be gone.
It could be down to Gabe Hall, Byron Young, Ty Robinson, who had the best camp. I think that's how it could end up turning out. But at the same time, even as I say that, you could probably get Gabe Hall and Byron Young to the practice squad. They've played football. They've played a lot of football for the Eagles. There's a lot of tape out on those guys. But at the end of the day, it is a matter of this is what I always think about when I put together my 53s as, co-champion, back-to-back champion, co-champion. Shout out to Olivia Ryder the last year, but really the king of the beats right now. I always think about who do you feel good about exposing to waivers? What?
How'd the season turn out?
You're going to say that you should have been right, is what you're saying here?
Yeah. If they had the correct 53-man roster, they probably would have gone back to the Super Bowl.
Okay, well, that's what the non-king of the beats would say.
Please, no one has ever or will ever touch 3 in a row.
I was still king of the beats this year. I just want to remind you.
King of the Beats
I had to bring it up at some point.
Winner. It's a whole thing. We don't need to litigate this again.
That sounds like something that the King of the Beats should decide.
No, King of the Beats is the roster champion, your roster prediction champion. That's different than King of the Beats.
I am.
It's like an NBA Jam. You made a shot. You're not on fire because you made a shot. You got to make 3 in a row.
Oh, I did too.
So you're 1 away.
So you usually want to figure out who can I expose to waivers and feel good about getting through to the practice squad. Byron Young and Gabe Hall, probably still more than Ty Robinson just because of the draft pedigree.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
Yeah.
All right, let's squeeze in linebacker.
CDP says you sound like Jalen Brown.
How dare you? I've won way more than Jalen Brown has ever won. Linebacker. Zach Bond and Jihad Campbell are your locks. Now, I guess we got to worry a little bit about the Jihad Campbell injury. I don't think that it's going to be a PUP situation, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't suspect that. Yeah.
But something to keep an eye on. Then you got Smile Mondin Jr., Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Chance Campbell, Deontay Lawson, the undrafted rookie from Alabama, and Chandler Martin from Memphis, second-year player. I have them just taking the chalk here, Smile Mondin and Jeremiah Trotter Jr.
Yep.
But I think Deontay Lawson could push, and I would put him at 52 turkeys to make the team.
Yeah,
I think there's a good chance he makes it because I think it's likely they carry 5 linebackers, but for this exercise, I have just 4.
Yeah, I had 4 as well, but to me, Chance Campbell and Deontay Lawson are going to be 2 players that you want to keep a close eye on during training camp. Obviously, Deontay Lawson was one of the most noteworthy undrafted free agents that they added at the position. And then Chance Campbell, again, shout out to Zach Berman, wrote a story about how Chance Campbell was a practice squad standout for the Eagles last year. So he's a player that, has really developed behind the scenes. And yeah, being able to see him, because he was a really late addition to their 90-man roster last summer.
Yes.
I remember when they signed him, actually, a funny story.
Before the final preseason game, I think they needed a body.
When they signed him,
stuck around.
I was like, they literally just signed this guy because Jahad Campbell is not going to play in this game.
Right.
And I thought it was ironic that his last name was also Campbell. I think I have text history with my father-in-law literally explaining this exact thing. But no, like I said, Zach Berman does a good job polling the locker room, and a lot of players, including Saquon Barkley, had a lot of nice things to say about what Chance Campbell did on the scout team. So he'll be a fun one to watch this summer. I think one of those two guys, like if they have a standout training camp, they could fight their way onto the 53-man roster.
That's
for
right.
Sure.
There is one other player involved here. The Eagles made a transaction today.
Yeah.
Isaiah King
from
Idaho. We talked about it yesterday on the show, the spelling of Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
And here in comes Howie was watching the show, because this is a shot across our bow.
No, let's be clear. It's a shot across my bow. I want to make, now that he's here, I would like to clarify something. I would like to apologize for saying that there's a correct way to spell a name. That was completely inappropriate. I felt really bad about it. I called my wife on the way home and was like, I don't know why I said that. It was like an insensitive thing to say, and it's also not something that I like believe in.
I'll say it. There's only one right way to spell Lindsay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, absolutely. But
yes, if it's your name.
For the Isaiahs out there, I apologize.
That's right. There's only one way to spell it.
No, also, my daughter has a name that's spelled differently, and my way is the right way.
I agree.
Wait, your daughter has what?
She's
Peyton.
Oh.
Could be spelled two ways.
Okay.
But I have the right way.
That's a good one.
So hand up. I'm sorry to all the Isaiahs out there that spell it that way. There's no right or wrong way.
So yeah, clearly I was watching the show, and this is him being like, "Oh, that's the only way to spell it, huh?" And
he's going to show Isaiah the clip.
After Tucker Large waived with an injury designation, we noticed that he was not practicing at practice on Friday. So I think a situation where he showed up, wasn't ready, and they moved on.
Him and Rocco Underwood had the same number, and it was like, is that a safety or a long snapper over there? So yeah,
this is also a spot linebacker where I kind of expect them to add a veteran on like the eve of training camp. This is a guy we want to have in the building, especially if Jahad Campbell is going to miss the first week of camp or so.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Just looking at names.
There's
play the look at name games
that just happened.
Bobby Okereke, Logan Wilson.
You see this NFC East news?
Not yet.
Okay. Giants finalizing a deal for DJ Reader, the defensive tackle that most recently played for the Detroit Lions. What does it mean for the Eagles?
DJ Reader. I don't even know. Maybe you could get a deal with Ritas.
Yeah. Shout out Ritas. And shout out
Ritas. Shout out to Kim. All right. So we don't have any differences?
No, you had an extra offensive lineman.
No, on the defense.
On defense so far. No.
Oh, well, how fascinating. Stay tuned to find out if we have any differences at corner and safety as the PHLY Eagles podcast rolls on.
Home for less during Ashley's Memorial Day event. Right now, you can save up to 20% on beautifully crafted Ashley furniture or take advantage of 60 months no-interest financing with no minimum purchase. If you're looking to sleep better, you can get free upgrades on a select adjustable bases plus king-size comfort for queen-size pricing on select Ashley mattresses. These Memorial Day deals won't last, so don't wait. Shop in-store or online at Ashley today.
Shout out Ed. That's right. We're back talking about our friends at Ace Hardware Home Services because it's a beautiful day today. But as the heat and humidity starts just cranking up a little bit, so does your AC. And if it's not ready for summer, you might need some help. That's where Ace Hardware Home Services comes in. And of course, it's not just AC repairs. It's everything that you have going on in the house, from water heaters and plumbing to electrical. Their trusted local pros bring the same helpful service you know from Ace right to your home. The same kind of helpful service that has led to back and forth and back and forth and back and forth meat picks with EJ and his buddy Ed. Whether it's a quick fix or a bigger summer project, they've got the tools, the know-how, and the people to get it done right. Ace Hardware Home Services, bringing helpful to your home. Visit acehardwarehomeservices.com today To get started, that's acehardwarehomeservices.com today. Tell them PHLY sent you and ask for Ed.
Upgrade your home for less during Ashley's Memorial Day event. Right now, you can save up to 20% on beautifully crafted Ashley furniture or take advantage of 60 months no-interest financing with no minimum purchase. If you're looking to sleep better, you can get free upgrades on select adjustable bases, and you can get king-size comfort for queen-size pricing on select Ashley mattresses. These Memorial Day deals won't last, so don't wait. Shop in-store or online at Ashley today.
Back in the PHLY Eagles podcast, Bo and EJ, good conversation in the chat about people with names and not liking the people who spell their own names other different ways. Good stuff. Now, let me ask you about Shaun's, okay? Because this is one where there's a lot of different spellings. I'm going to ask you who the person who comes to mind is for each spelling. So Shaun, S-E-A-N, who do you think of?
Shout out Shaun O'Neal, friend of mine. We grew up in the same neighborhood. Great guy. He is a sicko. He's a listener, so I think he will hear this and he will appreciate it.
Okay.
Shout out Shaun.
I go Shaun Elliott for that spelling.
Okay.
How about Shaun, S-H-A-U-N?
Oh. I'm not sure that anyone comes to mind. Is that bad?
Shaun Alexander.
Oh, man. He was a bad boy.
Oh.
I like Shaun Alexander.
Okay. How about S-H-A-W-N?
The one and only, Shaun Syed.
Oh, I go Shawn Michaels.
Wow.
That's who comes to mind.
Shaun, if you're listening, you should know. That was easy for me. And, some people aren't as loyal.
And then, of course, you've got Shawn Dunston.
Shaun.
S-H-A-W-O-N.
Yeah.
And then someone else in the chat pointed out C-H-O-N-E for Shaun Figgins.
C-H-O-N-E. That's Shaun?
Yeah.
I didn't know about this guy. I mean, interesting, creative spelling. How much has this guy had his name mispronounced in his life?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Shaun, for sure.
It's got to be tough.
Now, how about Payton versus Payton?
There's only one way to spell it.
I know, but who do you think of?
Well, Payton with an A, I think Sean Payton, and then Payton with an E, Peyton Manning.
Okay.
Shout out Peyton Manning. I don't know why I'm giving him a shout out, actually. I've tried to get in touch with him for stories for years.
Really?
That guy's tough to get in touch with.
Really?
Yeah, get him on the phone. It's hard to get those Omaha Productions emails.
Not to tap into some connections. See if I can help you out.
Yeah, maybe we'll get somebody, maybe a listener of the show will be like, I can hook you up. I got you. You can finally write that Peyton Manning, Jalen Hurts story you've been working on for years.
You know which one Rachel doesn't like is R-A-C-H-A-E-L.
Yeah, I can see that. But again, respect all names.
Respect all names, but to default to the A-E-L spelling feels odd.
Rachel. It's different. It's a little add a little spice to Rachel.
B-E-A-U is the worst. I think we can all agree.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, my talk to text, which I use a lot, it will not spell your name correctly. You were one of the most called people in my phone, and every time I say Bo and it spells it B-E-A-U.
Terrible
What are we doing?
But let's just hand over all of our brain power to technology. I'm sure they'll figure it out.
Well, I know that you're not saying that, but I'm using talk to text because I'm in the car a lot, and I try to be a responsible human being.
I understand.
But I agree. Yeah, what are we doing?
Cornerbacks. 3 locks. The starters.
Mm-hmm.
Jean Quinion Mitchell and Reek Woolen. And then there's some interesting conversations here.
Yeah.
Keely Ringo, Tariq Castro Fields, Brandon Johnson, Ambry Thomas, Jonathan Jones, the veteran, Mac McWilliams, last year's 5th-round pick, and an interesting note on the roster, Kapena Gashikin.
Yes.
Who played safety at Ole Miss. They list him as a corner. And we're talking to Fran about the scouting report, reading about him, watching him. That nickel profile makes more sense. He's an amazing athlete.
Yeah.
Super athlete, a little bit undersized. Seems like the Eagles are going to move him to corner to basically nickel full time.
Yeah. I think Cooper DeJean, I believe, is listed as a defensive back for the Eagles as well, right?
Yeah, I think.
Yes.
And Brandon Johnson is also listed as a defensive back, and JT Gray.
So it is interesting that they didn't just list him as a defensive back, because I was going to say he's a corner like Cooper DeJean is a corner. Maybe he's got some flex to play safety in base if you ever were asking Kapena Gashikin to play in your base defense for some reason.
Now we're talking.
So for for that reason. That does surprise me a little bit, but yeah, I think he's going to be a fun player to keep an eye on. I think he does have some fun traits in that slot position.
All right, so how did you net out here?
So
I have cornerback spots.
I have 2 spots up for grabs. I've got Keely Ringo and Jonathan Jones.
Okay.
I really struggled and considered, like, do I take... This is the one spot where I was thinking, Keely Ringo feels like if there's a player on this roster that gets traded between now and week 1, I think he probably is the one I put the most turkeys on. Then the defining thing is going to be if he has a market or not. I think the Eagles would be willing to move him on for some draft compensation.
I think at this point it's more likely that it would be a player-for-player type swap.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we light, and you can help us out, and we'll send you Keely Ringo. I also have him making the team just because he's a really good special teams player.
Couldn't agree more.
And if I'm taking out Cameron Latu, I'm using a spot on Keely Ringo. But I this is not a guarantee. But I think if he makes it to the end of camp, I think he's too good on special teams to release.
It's hard to envision them cutting him unless he is like just terrible in training camp.
Okay.
But even still, I feel like he belongs on the 53 unless they can find a trade for him.
Okay. And then you have Jonathan Jones. I still have Mac McWilliams over Jonathan Jones.
Really? Okay.
And I think it was a disappointing rookie season for Mac McWilliams after he got a little gas early on from Vic Fangio. Couldn't get on the field at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But I'll believe in the player taking that year 2 jump. But by absolutely no means is he guaranteed anything. And this is one where you really can evaluate on-field performance. Notice that neither of us even really gave a second thought to Ja'Cory Bennett.
Right.
After what we saw from him last year. I think Jonathan Jones is a good like he is the bar for all of these other guys to clear, and we'll see what they can do. Obviously, I'm rooting for Brandon Johnson. But.
Yeah, I think what you did is you made a bet on Mac McWilliams outperforming like the steady presence that Jonathan Jones can give you. I'll be honest, when I went through the exercise last night, like I just went through gut reaction 53 players on my like I picked my 53. Woke up this morning and went through it, and I struggled with this corner spot and texted Fran for like more intel on like what he thinks Jonathan Jones will be for the Eagles in camp. Okay. And he was the one who swayed me. Like basically it's going to have to be Mac McWilliams beating Jonathan Jones for that job. And I was a little bit less convicted in that than you were.
I think there's a good chance Jonathan Jones makes the team because they don't trust anybody else. I mean, you're not going to get through 17 games likely without an injury to those top 3 guys. And they have other guys who can play inside, like Michael Carter.
Mm-hmm.
But would they rather have Jonathan Jones be the break glass in case of emergency outside corner than Keely Ringo? I think there's probably a good chance.
Yeah. Also, did you see there's been reports that Adoree Jackson is going to meet with the Dallas Cowboys?
I saw that.
Yeah, makes sense. Christian Parker knows what he is. So.
All right. Safety. You got 4 spots left?
I do.
Okay. I've got, I think Drew McCouba is the only lock here.
I think Marcus Epps.
A lock?
Yeah, I do just because they're so thin in the room.
I wouldn't have to call him.
I understand, also,
if they add somebody this summer, they trade for somebody, all of a sudden he's not a lock.
Then I would probably take him out of there. But based off of what they have in the room, I think I just would have a hard time seeing them not having him on the roster. You know what you're going to get from him.
Drew McCouba, Marcus Epps, Michael Carter II, rather. JT Gray, Maximus Pulley, Andre Sam, Cole. Some potential reports that it's Wisniewski instead of Wisniewski.
Oh, is it really?
I got it. We got to get to the bottom of that and find out for sure.
Seems like a nice kid, like in his interview. Definitely seems like he's got... Yeah, Wisniewski. Now, that's based off of Pro Football Reference, but...
Oh, okay.
I feel like that's trustworthy, so...
Okay.
Wisniewski. Cole Wisniewski. Okay.
Wisniewski. Yeah. Wisniewski.
I'm waiting for you to
That's
come up.
That's a bad job by us. Cole Wisniewski.
I mean...
Wisniewski.
It's not like we were like, butchering it.
That's way worse than when you said that all Isaiahs who spell it that way should be cast aside from the earth.
I did not say that, but I would also say what I did say is worse.
Cole Wisniewski.
Cole Wisniewski. Well, that's a good segue because I have Cole Wisniewski on my 53-man roster.
Me too.
The way that Howie talked about him and the player that he is, the fact that he's like what you're going to get type of commodity, I feel like, yeah, sign me up for him on the 53. Obviously, they use a draft pick on him, which is usually a good indicator that he'll have an inside track at making the roster, and I expect him to be decent in training camp. I think Vic's gonna like him. Yeah, he's the guy who I would pick as like the dark horse that's gonna make the roster. I don't even know if you can call him a dark horse at this point.
I wouldn't call it a dark horse, and certainly wouldn't call him a dark
I
horse.
knew you were gonna say that.
I have the same 4. Now, I think this is one where what I actually think is they will trade for a starting safety, and probably Marcus Epps, but maybe Michael Carter II doesn't make the team. They try to keep him around, and that's how this pans out.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like you could probably get Michael Carter II onto the practice squad. I think Marcus
much
Epps.
more likely to get Epps on the practice squad.
I don't know. Like Michael Carter II just went through a position swap. Like, I mean, they traded like a 7th to get him. I don't know if a team's
Because he was
be
getting
like,
paid a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
Epps
think a
was
team
on the practice squad. It was cut by 2 teams last summer. I like Marcus Epps.
So do I. I think he's played enough good football for the Eagles where they wouldn't risk it. But
Okay.
I could be wrong. I mean, you're right. He wouldn't be exposed to waivers, right?
Correct.
Yeah. All right. Well, neither would Michael Carter II.
We had like
I
2
don't think we need
differences
to
on the
argue
whole thing.
too much. Yeah. I mean, hive mind
We had
here.
corner. You had a 6 wide receiver, and you had
Cam Latu.
Latu. So we had 3 differences.
3 differences out
I
of
took
53.
Lampkin.
Well, you know what? This is a reflection that these are 2 king of the beats. Former, current. Again, let's say that again. Former.
The only ever
current.
king of the beats, and just a guy who won the competition last year.
You know what you are like? You're like the inside the NBA guys who like hate on all the new players. Oh, you don't know what it's like back in my day. You know,
That's not true.
The way the league is these
I'm
days.
just saying, I got 3 pelts on the wall. That hasn't been matched.
Yeah, but I'm the current champ. I'm
Great.
I'm in my prime right now.
That's fine. But best now doesn't mean best ever.
Oh, these kids don't know nothing about no hard fouls.
No, I'm taking accomplishments.
Get in the paint. Why are you shooting them?
Show me
threes?
your resume. Anybody can win twice,
I don't know if that's
or
true.
really 1.5 times.
1.5. Yeah, I think that is fair. But
So half of the amount of times I won.
you know what? In the soccer world, they'd say undefeated in my last 2.
Mm. You know what I've been meaning to ask to tell you that I don't like about the way that soccer is covered?
Oh, okay. So that I don't like about you, or the way that you talk about
No,
soccer.
I don't like the way that they always talk about the table, the Premier League table,
Mhm.
as it's like auto updating, even though one team has played like 3 more games than the other.
Yeah,
like
the
they're
live
4th
know
in the table. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, like they just climbed up to 3rd in the
Like,
table with 3 games in hand.
We are advanced enough to know how math works. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean the games in hand can be tricky because it's like, you know, like Arsenal have played like 2 more games than City right now.
Right.
But yeah, it is like, oh, Manchester City climbed to the top of the table with Arsenal playing tomorrow. Yeah, it is a little.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they make a big deal out of like the live table. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, I think that's fair.
I mean, I guess it's instructive because it's like if you don't get any points, then you're going to stay there.
Yeah, but like these
it's,
teams
you
at the top, they get points. I don't know if did you see the highlights from the City game yesterday?
No.
Crazy goal in like the 97th minute.
Yeah.
Although it was a disappointing result for Manchester City. They needed to win that game. So, and meanwhile, Aston Villa are just in a free fall, and I hate it when they start to struggle. And all these like loser Arsenal fans, you guys are out there. I know you are. They'll be like, ugh, "This is Unai Emery, the classic Unai Emery experience." It's like, shut up. What do you mean? Like Aston Villa have had a great season. It has not been going great the last couple of weeks, but get out of here with this Unai Emery slander. Guy's done great at Aston Villa. Thank you. I need to get that off my chest.
I'm happy for you.
So annoyed by that.
Where do we? But it's a big deal. The rest of the Premier League is rooting for.
Yeah,
Aston Villa to
Villa
win.
did kind of screw that up. They didn't beat Tottenham. They were supposed to. But like
But
people,
no, I'm talking about because if they win the Europa League, then that opens up an extra spot in the
Yeah.
Champions League, right?
yeah, I mean, it might be good for you guys. Might be good for Brighton.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I'm worried the Villa are going to fall into 6th place though. It's that bad right
But
now.
if you win the Europa League, it doesn't matter because you get promoted to the Premier League anyway.
yeah,
I mean, to the Champions
the
League.
Champions League. I don't know if I trust them to do it though.
Oh, okay.
We'll see on Thursday.
And we'll find out what EJ thinks about it in Lindsay time.
I
Who
hate that Claire's an Arsenal fan. Here's what I would say. I've got friends who are Arsenal fans in America, but the Arsenal fans online are so insufferable that I can't root for the team. I'm sorry.
Man.
What?
First, you don't put Matt Quinn in the top 5 guitarists. Now you take a shot at Arsenal fans. You're making an enemy.
Matt Quinn was an honorable mention for my top 5 guitarists, which I think was like to show respect for him as a listener and as a musician who I admire greatly. It's just,
Tank Engine.
he doesn't play like he's no Tank Engine. Tom Misch. He doesn't play like stunt guitar. He's like a soulful guitar player.
Thomas Mueller.
I know who that is. Oh, man.
Speaking of Gooners.
Where is this about to go?
That's Maximus Pulley's nickname.
And see, that's why I shouldn't feel bad about the Isaiah thing. We are known to critique some names on this show. What are you going to do if Maximus Pulley is in the locker room the next time we're in the locker room?
I am giving him space. I am not getting in his way.
So
whatever it is he's doing.
No Wolf's Den on that? No Wolf's Den about his name?
I don't think that's appropriate.
I mean, that's probably fair.
Okay. What else you got going on?
Not much. Gonna enjoy the weather. Gonna have some tacos tonight.
Nice.
Literally. And shout out to Wawa.
Literally
tacos. Have tacos. Oh, I was gonna say it's Cinco de Mayo and Taco Tuesday. Lock of the century.
Is every Tuesday Taco Tuesday for you?
Probably like 70%.
Really?
I love. I'm trying to decide if I should use I mean, they're called something online. Well, we'll call them gentrified tacos.
White people tacos?
White people tacos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is
I
what?
love white people tacos, man.
Which is what?
I like authentic tacos. Love authentic tacos. But if you just give me like a soft flour tortilla, some ground beef with like just your stock standard taco seasoning, some shredded cheddar cheese, that's it. Maybe some Ortega taco sauce.
Wow, you're really good.
I really like those, man. Yeah, like they're great. There's a time and place for all those tacos.
You ever going crunchy shell, or are you ever going corn tortilla?
I don't go far enough into the white people tacos for the crunchy shell. A little bit too dramatic to eat a crunchy shell. You're gonna get that sharp edge poking you at some point.
I don't think I've had a crunchy shell taco. I don't know, since I was. I don't know. It just doesn't appeal to me anymore.
To each their own. If that's what you like, that's what you like.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't go corn tortilla at home. But listen, authentic tacos with corn tortillas, also excellent. So it's just time and a place. When I'm going to make them at home, I'm making white people tacos. And I love them.
Tacos on 70% of Tuesdays that's a very high bar.
Well, we don't always do beef tacos. We'll do shrimp tacos. Okay. We'll do like marinated chicken in a taco shell.
It's probably nice to take the mental load off of what am I going to cook this week if you know
which protein am I putting into my taco today.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
but just shredded cheddar cheese. We're not throwing in some tomatoes, some onions, some cilantro.
Julia makes a really good like fresh pico. And we collectively make good guacamole. If we got that stuff around the house.
Avocados.
What's that? Yeah, if we have good avocados, not like the lady who gave you the bad avocado. I think she knew that she could give you that avocado.
Well, here's the thing: it was standing at it was like a bucket, like a serving thing, and on one end it was the one at the top. So it's not like she like went out of her way to get it, so I understood, and that's why I was worried about it. Like this is the one at the top. This would be the easiest one for her to grab. But there was also on the other side, there was another top one that looked perfectly right.
To me, it was probably sitting on the top because she was waiting for somebody that she's. Like,
I think she was just sleepwalking through the job. It's the middle of the day.
Maybe.
This is what I got to do. But, I mean, she might as well spit in my face.
And she didn't. Oh, you didn't get chopsticks because you were frazzled.
Because I was too mentally weak about the whole thing.
You were just worked up.
I think my worst food opinion is that I do prefer flour tortillas.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I totally appreciate and understand that I'm wrong, that corn tortillas are better.
I hate corn tortillas.
When I have a corn tortilla, I only taste the corn. I don't taste what's inside of it.
It's not even it's not the taste, it's the consistency.
I hate have a different consistency.
I hate the
with
consistency.
some tacos, like I guess it works. I like a good Like
I mean,
Al Pastor
truly
taco.
high level,
Yeah.
freshly made
Yeah,
corn
they have to be
tortilla.
fresh.
It's great. I like it,
Mhm.
but I don't taste the rest. It becomes the overwhelming flavor in my mouth.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, a time and place for a corn tortilla for me, but I respect the corn tortilla. Now, like if you're getting them like fresh out of one of those like wooden boxes, that's a different level right there.
Yeah, this is me being wrong.
Yeah,
But
you got to get some tacos tonight, or make some tacos.
maybe.
Yeah, Taco Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo.
How do you feel about a breakfast taco?
I can't eat eggs, so I can't do a breakfast taco. I would love it if I could eat eggs.
Did I know we knew that?
Yeah, I bring it up every once in a while. It makes me sad.
Okay.
I used to love. I mean, I think part of the reason I can't eat them, it's one of those things where like in college, like I ate eggs every single day. Like you
Okay.
know, I probably overdid it at some point in my life. So yeah, they don't agree with me.
Don't agree with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay. They think the Cam Latte is unnecessary to be on the roster.
exactly. They're getting revenge for
Mm.
my bad.
And Lindsay, you're way anti corn.
Like I'd rather not eat at all than have a corn tortilla.
Wow.
I think
You'd
they're
rather spell
so
your
bad.
Name with an E.
Yeah. Like I would never eat one.
Hmm.
I respect it. Gratuitous D, I think that's a good point. Store-bought flour is better than corn. But I do like a fresh restaurant corn tortilla. I like that.
Do you dislike all corn?
No, I like corn. No, it's not the flavor. It's the
It's the
consistency of the
Yeah.
corn tortilla. It's like too dry.
Okay.
Pro John saying, just like I overdid tequila in college as well, EJ.
Is like what you did with eggs.
Yeah, I overdid tequila once in college.
Haven't had it since.
I'm not a big drinker. I probably have had it since, but it was the deal where we went to a Mexican restaurant. I was like, I just turned 21, and I don't think I realized how many shots of tequila were in a margarita. I thought it was just
Depends
one.
on the margarita.
Yeah, I thought it was just one shot, so I like drank it really fast, and I, empty stomach. We're at a Mexican restaurant. I was ready to throw down, and I had two margaritas, and I mean, 21-year-old EJ, down for the count.
What kind of trouble were you getting into?
Nothing. I was with Julia. It was with my future wife. So, fortunately,
All right. Good stuff. That'll do it for this episode
this
of
was fun.
PHLY Eagles podcast. Back tomorrow, 2:00. Bo and EJ. We got Fran on Thursday and Friday. Looking forward to that. Stay tuned. Other PHLY shows coming up. As always, we love you.
We all silly like the mayor.